Good evening. Good evening, guys. How are you? Welcome to the North American Sports Report. It is a Monday evening, November 3rd, 2025. Hope everybody is well tonight. We're going to do our NFL recap, a little Monday Night Football preview. We're going to put a ribbon on the World Series. The Dodgers, the Los Angeles Dodgers, they held their victory parade in LA today, celebrating their back-to-back World Series championship. Yoshi Yamamoto, the most valuable player, doing a little housekeeping. We were on Sunday morning and we went over everything. We went over our college picks, which we were 1-3. We are 18-1 in college. We'll get to our pro picks in a second. On the World Series, couple of things. I would like to give a shout out to the Dodgers. I know they had their championship parade today. Yoshi Yamamoto, the MVP, first player. Let me rephrase that. One of 14 players in the extensive history of Major League Baseball to record 3 victories in a World Series. It's only happened 14 times. And I mean, we've been playing World Series games since the early 1900s. So shout out to Yoshi and a well-deserved MVP for him in the series. A couple of right and wrongs, little housekeeping. I did say that Dominguez gave up the home run in the 11th inning. It was not Dominguez, it was Shane Bieber who gave up Will Smith's home run to put the Dodgers ahead with 2 outs in the 11th of Game 7. It was Shane Bieber, not Dominguez. My apologies to Mr. Dominguez. He actually pitched a scoreless 10th inning, and you couldn't go back to him. It was Bieber who was on in the 11th and gave up the go-ahead homer. And of course, Jeff Hoffman, if you saw his post-game interview, I mean, you had to be moved. I mean, he was in tears talking about how much he loved his Blue Jay teammates. And listen, the Blue Jays were valiant. After that 18-inning loss in Game 3, how they bounced back to take a 3-2 lead, winning games 4 and 5, and beating Ohtani and beating Snell and Trey Yesavage, their brilliant young pitcher who was valiant in 7 innings of 1 run, 12 strikeout ball. I mean, listen, the way they battled back to take Game 4 and Game 5, you really thought they had the advantage going back to Toronto for Game 6 and 7. But obviously Yoshi Yamamoto had other plans, recording the victories in Game 6 and 7. It was Jeff Hoffman who gave up the home run to Miguel Rojas with 1 out in the 9th inning to tie that game the other night. Miguel Rojas, then he made the big play in the infield the following inning. So Jeff Hoffman blew the lead. Shane Bieber gave up the go-ahead run in the 11th on Will Smith's go-ahead home run. And that was how the World Series ended. Of course, Yoshi comes on for 2 2/3 of shutout ball, bailing out Snell, who had once again come on in relief. And Blake Snell did not have a stellar World Series. And I was asked who got the game-ending double play, and that was Alejandro Kirk grounding into the game-ending double play. And you know, the very, I don't want to call him porky, but he's very stout, not exactly a speedster, running down the baselines. It was Alejandro Kirk who grounded into the game-ending double play after the Dodgers had led off with a double by Guerrero Jr. in the 11th, had first and third, 1 out, ready to tie the game, and Alejandro Kirk grounds into the game-ending double play from the pitch from Yamamoto, and that is how the series ended. Of course, the Blue Jays were hard luck losers in game 6. Also, the game ending on a double play as Andre Jimenez was the one who lined into the double play where Barger was also forced off second base on the low line drive that Kiki Hernandez grabbed and doubled Barger off second base. So 2 hard luck double plays to end game 6 and end game 7 as Kirk grounds into the double play. Yamamoto, the victor in both games 6 and 7. That puts a wrap on the World Series. I just had to go over some of this because I did say Dominguez gave up the game-winning home run, and I was incorrect yesterday. I was watching these games, and I'm in my headquarters, which is a 6-screen sports center in my main den of my home. And I'm watching these games, and I have all the college games on, and I have the baseball game on, and I'm trying to take in all this stuff at the same time. And I actually did miss the pitching change between Dominguez and Bieber as I'm watching all these things unfold at once. Although I will admit I was gripped by the drama of the World Series, but that dots the I's and crosses the T's of the World Series. I felt terrible for Jeff Hoffman watching his tear-ridden interview for giving up that home run in the 9th inning. To Rojas with 1 out in the 9th. And of course, Yoshi gets the double play ball from Kirk in the 11th to end it. Hard luck losers, the Blue Jays, but they've got a lot to be proud of. And the Dodgers had their big parade today and their celebration. And listen, I heard from a good friend from Los Angeles. He had put up a post on our page, my buddy Mike Floros, and he had a lot of good things to say. While nobody is saying that the Dodgers and teams like the Yankees and the Cubs and the Mets, they are doing what is allowed in the rules of baseball. They're not doing anything out of bounds. But he had a good quote that I read on our post, on our page, and his post simply said that this might be what's wrong with baseball, where teams can really stockpile their roster, and baseball may need a salary cap like the NFL, like the NHL, like the NBA. They need to make this an even playing field. Like people that root for the Cincinnati Reds and the Milwaukee Brewers and, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays or whoever, they need to have a shot at some type of competitive balance when they're going up against the larger big market franchises. And to be able to spend an endless amount of money does seem a little unbalanced. And you're seeing, the Dodgers now have been to 5 World Series in 9 years. And, the Yankees are always in it. And the Mets go out and spend a ton of money and still can't get it right, which is an example of how it cannot always work. And the Dodgers are a well-run organization, have done nothing out of bounds. I believe that fully. But, yes, my good friend from Los Angeles, Michael Flores, made a great point tonight on our page, posting that something should probably be done about this eventually to restore the competitive balance. Well, that is going to put a bow on baseball for us. That is it. I did give out the Dodgers in Game 6, and I gave the Dodgers out in the series at -120. Those were my only 2 MLB picks I made since I've been on air. So we nailed both of them. We are 18-1 in college as we are coming off a 1-4 week. And moving to the NFL. We had been rolling hot the last 2 weeks, winning 10 of our last 13, but we definitely came back down to earth. We went 1-3 yesterday, 1-3 in our NFL picks. We are now 32-31 on the season. 32-31 on the season. So that is the number in the NFL. Still over 500. but a hard luck week for me. And when we look at it, I had the Jaguars minus 2.5. That was a loser. They won by 1 point as the Raiders went for two to win the game and lost 30-29. What really killed me, and I'm sure killed many of you, was I had the Lions and the Packers in teasers. I mean, all the Packers had to do was win by a touchdown, and all the Lions had to do was win by 4 points. And you would have thought those were pretty good chances with the Packers at home against the Carolina Panthers and the Lions at home with the returning J.J. McCarthy, who had not played in a while. Their offense had struggled. But heck, the Vikings defense played lights out. I mean, they smothered the Lions. I've never seen the Lions offense, especially at home, have as much difficulty as they did against Brian Flores' amped up Minnesota defense. Yes, JJ was efficient, but again, he didn't even throw for 150 yards. He did throw for 2 touchdowns. He did rush for another 15 yards and an additional touchdown. And, he had 3 total TDs. He did have 1 pick, but he did what was necessary to win. They also ran the ball great with Aaron Jones, and they played an excellent road game. So the Lions losing 27-24, and the Packers being upset the Packers were 12.5-point favorites at home. I can't figure this team out. Anyway, that's how we got our losses, because we had the Pack and the Rams in a 2-team teaser. We had the Lions and the Chargers, but we also had Jacksonville. I'll tell you another thing. I played both those teasers on DraftKings and lost as well. I think I had the Lions with the Patriots in a teaser too. I thought the Lions would definitely win that game by at least a touchdown, as I thought the Vikings with McCarthy returning were kind of still trying to figure things out. I mean, they come in 3-4. Big win for Minnesota. Kudos to them. A well-coached, well-executed, and impressive performance, especially on the defensive end for the Minnesota Vikings. So our only winner yesterday was we had the Bears and Niners in a teaser. That was our one win. Bears-Niners teaser winner. Jags straight, we lost by 1.5. And the 2 teasers with the Packers and Lions, who, let's face it, those were large upsets. Still over 500 at 32-31 on the season. And we're winding down in college, and we're 500 in college at 18-1. Let's do a little recap. As we said, we just went over the Viking-Lion game. We had the Ravens take care of the Miami Dolphins. That was on Thursday night. That's how the weekend started. 28-6, Baltimore over the Dolphins. The Dolphins have fired their general manager, Chris Grier. It's about time. Coach McDaniel, Mike McDaniel, he will definitely be let go at the end of the season. I don't know what they're going to do with Tua. He's under contract, and they're going to owe him a lot of money. The Ravens made easy work of the Dolphins. The Dolphins were moving the ball in the first half, but kept shooting themselves in the foot. 28-6, Lamar Jackson, 4 touchdowns, looked sharp in his return, no interceptions. Moving to Sunday, one of the craziest games of the day, the Bears defeated the Bengals 47-42. Caleb Williams passed for 280 yards. He had an excellent game. Joe Flacco passed for 470 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, and the Bengals lose the game because, other than the Dallas Cowboys, they probably have the worst defense in the league. I noticed the Ravens defense, who struggled early, now that they got Roquan Smith back and they got Hamilton back, they're starting to play better, they're healthier, and looking more like themselves. Now with Lamar Jackson back, look for the Ravens to make a move in that division. I know they're 3-5, but they have a very easy schedule lined up. Look for the Ravens to make a move. The Bengals, you can't even blame Joe Burrow not even being there. They're scoring points. Flacco has played outstanding since coming over to Cincinnati, but they just cannot get a stop. They cannot get a stop. Caleb Williams was 20 of 34 for 280 yards, 3 TDs, no picks for Caleb Williams. But like I said, Flacco was unbelievable. Flacco was 31 of 47, 470 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. For those that saw the game, The Bengals they'd gotten the game to within 41-35. Then they recover an onside kick, drive down the field, another touchdown pass by Flacco, I believe to Jamar Chase. Chase did have over 100 yards and a receiving touchdown in the game. And then all they got to do is get a stop. There was, I believe, less than a minute left. You're talking 40 some odd seconds left. They throw a deep ball. The two safeties converge. They hit the wide receiver, and they miss the tackle. He spins off, and he runs for a touchdown. And that's how the Bears win the game. Two blown tackles at about midfield. It was, listen, it was pretty bad. Yeah, Loveland, the tight end, was the one who broke the tackle, and he had 118 yards and 2 touchdowns and rumbled the final nearly 50 yards for game-winning touchdown. That's how the Bears come from behind and defeat the Bengals in the dying seconds, 47-42. Okay, moving on. The Niners came into Giant Stadium and had no trouble with the Giants, 34-24. Another sharp day for Macalicious Jones, Mackenzie Jones. Listen, Mac was very solid. 2 touchdowns, no picks, 235 yards on 19 of 24 passing. Of course, McCaffrey had 108 yards on the ground, which helped control things. Listen, the Giants, they're just not as good as this team. Brian Daboll he's going to be on the hot seat. He's going to be on the hot seat. The Giants couldn't really run the ball very well. That was a problem. They couldn't run the ball. I mean, Dart was their leading rusher, 8 carries for 56 yards and a touchdown. And Dart was solid, 24 of 33, 191 yards and another 58 yards on the ground. 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. The kid played good. Can't blame him. 34-24, that is the Niners over the Giants. The Broncos went into Houston and struggled most of the day. They were down late 15-7, got the touchdown pass from Nix, and then the 2-point conversion to Courtland Sutton, and they tied the game. And then on a late drive, kicked the game-winning field goal, 18-15, after looking anemic most of the day. Bo Nix comes alive in the fourth quarter, and the Broncos defeat the Texans 18-15. The New England Patriots stay hot, winning their 6th game in a row. The Patriots are now 7-2 and on top of the AFC East. I'll be honest with you, they played a great first half, and then they didn't play a great second half. Drake May, he struggled in the second half after being very sharp early. Michael Penix threw for 3 touchdowns. He was 22 of 37 for 221 for Atlanta. But literally, the Falcons basically lost this game because after mounting their comeback, they were poised to tie the game, and their kicker, who's their second kicker they got this year because the first one sucked, Parker Romo misses an extra point. The Falcons have lost 2 games on missing chippies in the field goal department this year, and Parker Romo misses the extra point that would have tied the game at 24. The Pats were up 24-3, controlling this game. Falcons rumbled all the way back, and they were 1 extra point away from tying the game. They missed the extra point. They did get another chance on offense, and the Patriots did stop them. A questionable grounding call on Michael Penix put them in a 4th and long situation. The Patriots get the stop and get the win by 1 point because, of course, the Patriots did get the ball back. The Falcons had a couple of timeouts. They had a chance to get a stop and maybe get 1 more possession, but the Patriots did get the critical first down and run out the clock. Drake May, 19 of 29 for 260, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He did also fumble once as he was hit. I'm going to say this. May played excellent in the first half, and you're like, oh man, this guy's just rolling. But he did look human, come down to earth in the second half. And they almost let this one get away, but they do get the win. That's all that counts. 6 in a row for the Patriots. Demario Douglas, 4 catches for 100 yards. You know what? Keyshawn Bote, who's been one of his favorite targets, he was blanked. He had 1 reception for no yards, and he had been hot. Diggs, 3 for 38. But yes, today it was Demario Douglas for Drake May. As the Patriots have now found, between Boutte and Douglas and Diggs, they have found weapons. They have developed weapons. Obviously, Diggs is a proven commodity in this league, but Demario Douglas and Boutte have been pleasant surprises for the Patriots. You know what they say: great quarterbacks make players around them thrive and play better. You know, how many times did we see Aaron Rodgers make a Packers wide receiver you never heard of back in the day all of a sudden look like an all-star? And Tom Brady did the same thing. I'm going to say this. The Patriots are a dangerous team. They're still young. I'm not saying they're a Super Bowl team. I wouldn't be surprised if, they learn some valuable lessons in the postseason, but they're dangerous. They're a team to watch for in the AFC, as they are on top of the AFC East, still one game ahead of Buffalo. The Indianapolis Colts traveled to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers, and the Colts came back down to earth. Looked like the Daniel Jones from the Giant days, as he threw 3 picks. I mean, he was awful. He looked like the Daniel Jones of old. Aaron Rodgers has continued to... Aaron Rodgers has had a good year. He looks way better than last year. He looks healthier. He looks younger. Daniel Jones, 31 of 50 for 342. He was sacked 5 times. He fumbled once. He was picked off 3 times. And here was the key. The Steelers, they stopped Jonathan Taylor. He had only 45 yards on 14 carries. Even Daniel Jones couldn't really do anything with his feet. He had 3 rushes for 4 yards. They stuffed that Colts running game, which has been so dominant. And like I said, not that it's a major upset that the Steelers win at home, but this I did not see coming, because it was 27-20, but it wasn't even really as close as the score indicates. Rodgers an efficient 25 of 35, 203, and a touchdown, as the Packers defeat the Colts 27-20. The Chargers defeated the Titans 27-20. Also a game that's not as close as the score indicates. The Titans were able to have a defensive touchdown early in the game to make it interesting, but Justin Herbert and the Chargers pretty much controlled the flow the whole way. Herbert's offensive line continues to struggle. He was sacked 6 times. He was 19 of 29 for 250, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. The Titans just continue to struggle. Cam Ward, 12 of 21 for only 145 yards. No TDs, no picks, and he was sacked 4 times. Back to the debacle at Lambeau. The Packers, just when you think they're about to turn the corner, Jordan Love 360 yards last week. They're 5-1-1. They're on top of the division, and they just laid an egg at home. Listen, I know Carolina's improved. Rico Dowdle has breathed life into them. Here's a guy that looks like an all-pro, one of the best running backs in the league, and the Cowboys basically let him go for nothing. Let him walk as a free agent. The guy's unbelievable. He was on the Cowboys for about 4 or 5 years. First practice squad, then special teams. And finally, when he got a chance to play last year, he played, pretty damn good. Led him in rushing. They let him walk, and now he's just all world. He's all world. Let's take a look at some of the game details here. Bryce Young did not have like a stellar day. It was more the defense of the Panthers and the inefficiency on offense of the Packers. Yeah, Bryce Young only threw for 100 yards. No touchdowns, 1 pick, 11 of 20. The guy's basically pitching 50%, and he throws for 100 yards. If you looked at that stat line, you would have never thought that the Panthers actually won this game. But then you got Rico Dowdle, another big game, 25 carries for 130 yards. He was the star for Carolina. Jordan Love, 26 of 37, 273 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. Jacobs had 87 yards on the ground. If you look at the tail of the tape, you would think that the Packers won this game by 10 points. But anytime they got in the red zone, there would be a litany of either a turnover, a bad penalty. There was listen, there was a missed field goal, there was a bad penalty, there was a Jordan Love pick. They just couldn't get out of their own way. And listen, they did finally come back and tie the game at 13, but Carolina was able to get in position for the game-winning field goal and nail it at the buzzer. 16-13, bad loss for the Packers. The Carolina Panthers are 5-4. The Packers fall to 5-2-1. Jags defeat the Raiders 30-29. Jacksonville improves to 5-3. The Jags definitely missed Travis Hunter. They were exposed on that side of the field with him not manning the corner position. Trevor Lawrence, listen, I never know. You look at him, he's got all the tools. You think he should be this all-world quarterback, and he just, I don't know, it just seems like you never realize his full potential. Maybe he's not as good as his draft status indicated or as I'm giving him credit for, but they do win. They're playing a very poor team in the Raiders. I give Pete Carroll credit. This game was going to be a tie. They could have kicked the field goal and it would have ended 30-30, but Pete Carroll opted to go for the win, go for two, and Geno Smith's pass is batted down as they go for two after they seemingly had tied the game. Trevor Lawrence, 23 of 34, 220, no touchdowns, one pick. He did run the ball for 25 yards on 9 carries and 2 touchdowns. So he had 2 touchdowns on the ground, none in the air. ATN had 84 yards on 22 carries. Not stellar, under 4 yards a carry. But they did enough on offense. I mean, they scored 30 points. I mean, the Jags did have, like I said, they had almost 350 yards of offense. They had about 338, as I'm seeing here. And, but they just, it was anybody's ball game. Geno Smith, 29 of 39, 284, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Geno had a good day. You know what? They couldn't run the football at all. Gentry, 5 yards. That's part of the Raiders' problem. There's no balance in their offense. Gentry, although he's not really running behind an offensive line worth of shit, so I don't really know how much we can grade him so far in his rookie season. But 30-29, Geno throws for 4 TDs, 1 pick, but he does have his pass deflected at the line of scrimmage when they went for the win instead of the tie at the end of overtime. Rams, home for the Saints. No surprise here, 34-10. Rams take care of business. Matthew Stafford had 4 touchdowns in the first half. The Rams, listen, my pick for the Super Bowl, as I did in the first week of September, when we first started covering football on the season, I told you that my Super Bowl pick is the Buffalo Bills and the Los Angeles Rams. For what that's worth. You want to put a future on it? I know I did. And I still think that those 2 teams look like the 2 best teams in either conference. Of course, the Saints finally started Tyler Shuck. I mean, you might as well. He's your rookie quarterback. You drafted him. He did not play well. 15 of 24, 176, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Again, the Saints couldn't run the ball at all. The Rams, this game was over from the coin flip. Stafford, 24 of 32, 281, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and they went easy on him in the second half. Puka Nacua has 2 touchdown receptions. Devontae Adams has 1 touchdown reception. Listen, they took their foot off the gas. This could have been worse than the score even indicates. But the Rams made no doubt, took care of their business. What else? I think that covers everything on Sunday. There's only one other game we have to get to, and that was the marquee game of the day. The Buffalo Bills get a much-needed win over the Kansas City Chiefs, 28-21. The Chiefs fall to 5-4 and have 4 losses. Listen, this game was all about the Bills needing a big signature win. Okay? Obviously, we know they've played good against Mahomes in the regular season, but anytime a big game, a playoff game, Mahomes is always their daddy. And although this isn't a playoff game, the Bills are 6-2. They don't want to be falling to 5-3 and being 2 games behind the Patriots. Home field for the Bills is still paramount in them getting to where they want to go to this season. You know that they have a great home field advantage. So, Patrick Mahomes, 15 of 34 for 250 yards. He was sacked 3 times. The Buffalo Bills defense looked outstanding. They looked outstanding, and we have seen them struggle at times, especially against Atlanta. But they had it all working. And, not a huge game by Josh Allen, but very good. 23 of 26. The ball barely hit the ground. 273 yards. Only 1 passing touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. But a very, very solid game. But really, James Cook, 27 carries for 114 yards. Josh Allen also had 2 rushing touchdowns. So he had a passing touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns. He had 20 yards rushing on 6 carries, 2 TDs. Cook had 114 yards. The Bills rushed for 142 yards on the ground, and that controlled the tempo. 142 yards rushing on the ground and 273 in the air. So well over 400 yards of offense. Very solid game for Allen and Cook. The Chiefs, on the other hand, they struggled to run the ball. Rashee Rice did have 4 receptions for 80 yards. The Chiefs, though, they definitely were missing Pacheco. As you know, he was out of the game. They had Kareem Hunt rushed for 49 yards on 11 carries. He was the most effective, and that was pretty much it. 5 yards for Mahomes, 6 yards on 2 carries for Rice. They couldn't rush the football. I mean, the Chiefs only amassed about 75 yards rushing, and that was part of the problem. No balance. Anyway, that's a big, big win. And they also sacked Mahomes 3 times and harassed him the whole night. Kudos to the Buffalo Bills defense. 28-21. That is the final. Big win for the Bills. They improved to 6-2. Stay on the Patriots' tail in the AFC East. And the Chiefs are looking wild card. They're 5-4. They're 2 games behind the Denver Broncos, who have won 6 in a row and are 7-2. They're a game behind the Chargers of Los Angeles. They're looking wild card for the Chiefs this year. But listen, there's still 8 games to play. It's amazing how quick the NFL season goes. We have already passed the midway point. Time flies when you're having fun. Okay, lastly, last night, the Seattle Seahawks absolutely dominated the Washington Commanders 38-14. Sam Darnold, like last year, continues to look reborn. Just shows you about coaching. People know how much I destroy my Miami Hurricanes for their self-implosion on the college football side of things. It just shows you, though, how much coaching matters in the NFL. In my opinion, coaching matters most in the NFL and in hockey. Because in baseball, we know you're only as good as your starting pitching. Okay? Yes, a manager can botch things up and make the wrong moves. But if you got the arms, you're going to win. Basketball, if you got 2 dynamic players out of your starting 5, you're going to be good. Basketball, it's more about your GM and who you're putting on the floor. Football and hockey, it's about systems and discipline. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, look at Mac Jones now under Coach Shanahan. These guys are reborn. They look like the players they were originally drafted to be. Listen, I always liked Baker. Let's remember Baker Mayfield led the Cleveland Browns, a hapless organization, not only to a playoff, but playoff victory. And then, he showed promise his rookie year. Second year, he gets them to the playoffs. They win 11 games. Then they win a playoff game. And then he was hurt the next year. And then they kicked him to the curb in year 4. I don't think Baker has disappointed much in his career. He was just on a shit organization, which continues to be a shit organization, by the way. They'll be drafting a quarterback again, the Cleveland Browns. But anyway, coaching matters, guys. Coaching matters. The Seattle Seahawks. Let's take a look at Sam Darnold's numbers. This game looked like a freaking pro game, a pro team versus a high school game. It looked like when Ohio State plays Akron. That's how competitive this game was. I mean, this was. It's amazing how bad the Washington Commanders are after the exciting year they had last year. And I'm going to tell you something. I never liked Dan Quinn when he was the Cowboy defensive coordinator. They got a lot of turnovers. They were extra aggressive. They blitzed a lot. And they created a lot of turnovers, which made up for a lot of their shortcomings. But man, when they got in big games against big teams, especially that Packer playoff game where I don't think the Packers ever punted and just ran it up on us, and then Dan gets this job. Off of that, I was like, wow. But, he looked great last year. This year, their defense is ass. They can't stop a nosebleed. Sam Darnold, 21 of 24. I mean, the ball barely hit the ground. Sam at one point was 15 of his first 15 to start the game. He didn't throw an incompletion in the first half. He threw for 4 touchdowns, 330 yards. He was just dominant. They didn't run the ball much. They didn't really have to. I'm going to tell you what, Jackson Smith and Jigba, he might be the best wide receiver in the league right now. He might be the best wide receiver in the league. He had 8 catches for 129 yards in this game. He just tore them apart. Horton had 2 touchdown receptions. White and the former Canes linebacker, or Canes tight end, Arroyo, who has been an excellent rook for the Seahawks, he also had a touchdown. The Seahawks also draft good. They are now healthy on defense again. They've gotten their secondary. Most of their secondary is back in the starting lineup. And this game was a freaking beating. It was uncompetitive. And we're going to give out the Bonehead of the freaking week. The Bonehead of the Year award goes to Dan Quinn. What the freaking hell is Jayden Daniels doing in the game? What is he doing in the game at 38-7? For those of you that don't know, Jayden Daniels broke his arm last night. Now, I don't know if you saw this. I'm definitely not going to show you a replay of it because it was gruesome. But he broke his arm at the elbow. At the elbow. It was gruesome. And it's on the final drive of the game where they're down 38-7. What the hell is he even in the game for? What's he in the game for? What's he in the game for? I just don't know. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it. And now Jayden Daniels is gone for the season, and the season is gone for the Washington Commanders. Whatever juju they were playing with last year, it all centered around Daniels with his, excellent athleticism, with his arms, with his legs. But here's the thing. The one thing I was always concerned about, it wasn't his talent coming out of college. His style of play. He's not that thick a guy. He's very thin and lanky. We know he's elusive. But you can't take those type of hits. You got to eventually know when to pick your spots. You can't run the ball all the time in the NFL. This isn't college. And he is now sustaining numerous injuries, which is hampering his and his team's progress. And that's it for you could put a fork in the Washington Commanders because they're done. Well, that is it for this week's NFL recap. Tonight on Monday Night Football, we have the Dallas Cowboys, who are a 3.5-point favorite. The Dallas Cowboys are a 3.5-point favorite over the Arizona Cardinals at home. 8:15 is the kickoff. Who do I like in this game? Well, I know Kyler Murray won't start for the Cardinals. They're going to play Jacoby Brissett. I don't even know if that matters. Listen, the Cowboy defense is god-awful. Right now, them and the Bengals are, trying to see who can suck more on defense. It's a toss-up. And listen, I expect Dak and the offense to play great. They've been consistent most of the year. But I have no feel for this game. Would I trust laying money on -3.5 on the Cowboys? No. No, I wouldn't. I would tell you one thing. I would take, I'll give you 2. I'm going to say, here's what I'd do. I'm going to give you 1 pick. Take the Cardinals and the over and tease them. That will make the Cardinals plus 9.5 because they're plus 3.5, and that'll bring the over/under down to. That'll bring the over/under from 53.5 to 46.5. I'm sorry, 47.5. 47.5. 6 points. 2-team teaser. The Cards plus 9.5. I don't think they're going to win the game. I think the Cowboys will win the game, but I don't think that it's going to be a blowout of sorts. I think it'll be a high-scoring game. I'm going to take the Cards and the over, which will now be 47.5 in a teaser. And you know what? I wouldn't hesitate to also just bet the over at 53.5. So we'll give you 2 picks. See if we can improve on our 1-3 this week. We'll give you 2 picks: Cards and the over teased and the over straight. Those are our 2 picks for tonight, Monday Night Football. And that is a wrap for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to please subscribe. Please subscribe to the North American Sports Report on YouTube. Please follow us on Facebook and like our North American Sports Report page. Please also follow Billy DiNapoli on Facebook and Instagram and X. You can stay in touch with me there and follow, and obviously these shows also stream on Billy DiNapoli Live as well as Facebook, and then our rebroadcast on the North American Sports Report. We broadcast from 2 of those, the YouTube channel and the Billy DiNapoli channel, live at the same time. So please like and subscribe. Our YouTube channel, North American Sports Report, please subscribe. We appreciate all the viewers that have been tuning in. It's been a fun year for our inaugural journey into sports podcasting. Before I get out of here, for my Canadian friends who are feeling a little down about the Blue Jays, for you football fans, and the Canadians know this, if you like football like I love football, you wish it was 12 months a year. Yes, I'm one of those knuckleheads that's watching the USFL, which is now the UFL. I watch the spring leagues because, listen, the NFL derives a lot of players from these leagues, and they should just turn around and sponsor the damn thing like they used to with NFL Europe. Because, I mean, the Cowboys got Brandon Aubrey, their all-star kicker. Same with the Lions. They got Jake Bates, their all-star kicker. Cavante Turpin, the all-star returner. Brandon Nares, the kick returner for Detroit, who was on the St. Louis Battlehawk. There is a lot of linemen. The Vikings, I know, have a defensive. They've got a defensive lineman that's balling out for them this year. There's a lot of these players coming from the spring league. And also, there is a professional league that's been around about 100 years called the Canadian Football League. If you've never checked out the 3-Down Game, tune into CBS Sports or CFL.ca and check these games out. My Canadian friends are getting ready for the playoffs. They started last week with the Montreal Alouettes defeating the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 42-33. Young quarterback Davis Alexander leading the Alouettes to the Eastern Final, which is, like their NFC-AFC championship. And the BC Lions with Nathan Rourke at quarterback, former Ohio quarterback, he led them to victory over the Calgary Stampeders in Vancouver, 33-30. Those teams will advance to their conference finals, where the BC Lions will visit the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the Prairie at Saskatchewan. If you've ever seen that on TV, that is a drunken sea of green, and it's wild. And the Alouettes will travel to Hamilton, where they will play the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the Eastern Conference Championship, which is, like I say, the Eastern and Western Conference Championships are like, they call them their Eastern Division Championship and Western Division Championship. They're the equivalent of our AFC, NFC Conference Championships for a trip to the Grey Cup, which is their Super Bowl. If you've never watched the 3-Down Game, it's very exciting. It's on a wider field, a longer field, and it's a lot of offense. It's a lot of throwing the football. It's fun. Give it a look-see. Hopefully, this will help ease the pain of my Blue Jay fans up north, where they can at least tune into their national pastime, the CFL. Check it out. Guys, if you ever get the chance, or if you've never seen it, it's a good It's really a good brand of football. It's something I watch before the NFL starts because their season starts the last week of July 1 till Thanksgiving. Because obviously you can't play outside in Canada in December or January because you'll die. Freeze. But it's good fun. It's good stuff. You should check it out. That's it for me. Enjoy the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Arizona Cardinals tonight. Again, the Cowboys are -3.5. I did give you a couple of fun plays. Cards and the over. That'll give the Cards a 9.5 point head start over the Dallas Cowboys and brings the over-under down to 47.5. I'm also going to take the over 53.5. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored tonight. But hey, none of this stuff's a lock. It's just good back and forth analysis and sports news and talk. And listen, we try to get all the details right. But hey, listen, I think I'm okay. I'm over 500. But no one said I was Jimmy the Greek. Okay? You guys have a good Monday night. We will see you. We're probably going to do a show on Thursday. You know my shows are always Saturday morning for college football, always Sunday morning for the NFL, and we do the college football recap, and always Monday evenings as we preempt Monday Night Football, and we go over the weekend's events in all four sports. But I think on Thursday we're going to come on around 6:30. We're going to go over some NHL, some NBA, and get caught up in the other sports. That's it for tonight, guys. Have a great night. This is Billy